Gojiro1962 here, and today I want to talk about something very important to me, that being Doom Eternal. This game is easily my favorite game ever made, and I can't stop playing it. But why? Why do I love this game, and why is it my favorite game? Well, let's get into that. Doom Eternal is a first-person shooter that was released on March 20th of 2020. It quickly became a hit and it sold massive amounts of copies. With the game being the most solid game in the franchise, I was one of those people that got it day one, and let me tell you, I couldn't wait to play the game and I had to go to Walmart after. You see, I wanted to pre-order the deluxe edition of the game, but unfortunately for me, GameStop didn't have it in stock, so I ended up pre-ordering the standard edition. But when I picked up the game, I was excited. Well, excited is more of an understatement, but when I got home and finally played the game, I enjoyed every second of it. But enough of my experience of the game. Let's get into why the game is the best game ever made. Well, at least, in my opinion. Doom Eternal is a complex game with a lot of mechanics. You have weak points, mods, movement, enemies, and much more. But let's get into the basics. Movement. In Doom Eternal, you have a lot of movement possibilities. You can dash, wall climb, double jump, and swing on a monkey bars. All of these things combine to the gameplay to make an engaging combat system, especially the yeet hook, or as the game devs would call it, the meat hook. But wall climbing doesn't really show up in the fights, but it's still there for platforming, which brings me to my next point, platforming. In Doom Eternal, you have some platforming sections between fights, and these involve you having to solve puzzles and get to new areas. When you get to these new areas, you have to fight demons, of course. But there is a big thing to help you, and that is weak points. In combat, you can destroy parts of demons to weaken them, and make it easier to fight. For example, you can destroy the Revenant rockets, destroy shields, destroy Mancubus rockets, and you can destroy the Rakentrons to it, just to name a few. When you destroy these weak points, it disables the demon's main weapon, forcing them to kill you in a different way. For example, if you destroy a Revenant rockets, this forces them to only hit you. But when destroying weak points, you're going to want to have some mods. Mods are very important, like everything else in this game, but mods affect combat in a big way. For every weapon except these ones, which these ones being BFG, Unmaker, and Crucible, the mods give your weapon a choice, a new ability, if you will. These abilities can be used to either destroy weak points or to just destroy the demons. And as in the gameplay, you can see I use these mods all the time, and why wouldn't you? The mods are incredibly fun to play with and adds a lot to the combat loop. Which brings me to my next point, combat. Combat is very intense and needs your attention. You can use all your weapons to the best of your ability and destroy every demon in your path. Though I just said something that may have sounded weird for those who catched it, and that is I said you can use all your weapons, and not that you have to use all your weapons. That's because the game doesn't force you to play in a certain style. You can play the game any way you want. You could play with only the super shotgun and the ballista, or you could play with only the combat shotgun, but that's the magic of the combat. You can play any way you want, and that is amazing. Now all of that is great and all, but the story. I adore the story. And yes, there will be spoilers somewhat, so leave now if you don't want to hear that. We follow the Slayer and his mission to kill all the Hell Priests, those being the 3 Hell Priests, and to defeat the Khan Maker. But after he kills the Hell Priests, the Khan Maker revives the Icon of Sin to go and destroy Earth. But after the Slayer kills the Khan Maker, he heads off to Earth to defeat the Icon of Sin. This story, even though simple, is amazing to me. And just like all the other Doom games, a simple story is all that is needed to have a great story, basically. And if you want more story, you can just go collect the codexes and read more on the lore, which is a really fun thing to do. I may not do it all the time or really that much, but my friend does, and it's really cool lore. And when I research up onto it, it's really fucking good. It expands on a story in incredible ways. This game is genre defining, just like the original Doom. This game has so many things that have been in gaming, but combines them all in such a unique way that makes it fresh and new. I adore this game, and I can't stop playing it. I can't wait for the future of this game, and I can't believe it exists in general. This game one-ups every other Doom game in just every way, in my opinion. And the best part is that id has said that they haven't made the best Doom game yet. I have no idea how you could one-up this game, but I have a few ideas for how they could. is that is by adding more challenging enemies, adding more secrets, better platforming, and just harder to find secrets, stuff like that. I'd also love to see more difficult demons. This game is like no other in that it revolutionized what modern games can be. And of course, it is super fun to play. But there was something I am missing here, and that something is a DLC. The Ancient Gods is a two-parter that follows the story after the campaign, in which the Slayer has to find the Dark Lord's life sphere and bring him back to life so the Slayer can kill him once and for all. This DLC is on par with the Outlast Whistleblower for me, in that it's an amazing continuation of the base game that builds off of what made the game great and expands on the story in a fantastic way. I can't wait to see what comes next, and I hope part 2 is better than the first, because when writing this, part 2 is not out yet. Huge update, by the way. The DLC came out, and wow, is it great. The way the hammer fits into the combat loop is great, the level design is great, and it moves at a fast pace. And that ending was great, by the way. And I'm very curious where the franchise will go from here. I just want to say thank you to id Software and the entire team for making this amazing game. That means so much to me. I love this game so much, and I couldn't imagine myself not playing this game. I can't believe this game exists as it does. I can't really say anything else except thank you. This game is amazing, and the DLC is even on par with the base game. It's amazing what it has done with this. The combat, the gameplay, the story, cinematics too, like the cutscenes and all that. It's so good, man. And the boss fights, everything is great. So all I want to say is thank you to id. Keep doing what you're doing, and I really hope things get better from here, because what you're doing right now is amazing and it can only get better. Go to June 62, signing off.